over the last 5 years, I was living the standard American lifestyle, eating the standard American diet, and didn't feel good, struggled to get pregnant. I didn't really know what I was doing wrong, thought I was doing all the right things. I was very humbled in the beginning because it was very hard to experience what felt like some sort of malfunction or deficiency. And I thought, oh my gosh, there's something wrong with my body, there's something wrong, and am I gonna have infertility problems and all of this?
When we look at the standard American diet, what we see is women that are consuming no nutrient-dense foods. When we don't have these nutrients, what's happening is our fertility declines every single year.
It's pretty scary to think about all of the endocrine disruptors we're exposed to in our environment: xenoestrogens, phthalates in plastics, microplastics in food.
We've been so far removed from what real nutrition is that we think we walk into a grocery store and the boxes that line the grocery store aisles has anything nutrient dense in it is just a joke.
I think there's a clear path forward, and it's being aware of the environmental factors, the toxins that are going to be disruptive to our fertility, the xenoestrogens, the phthalates, the plastics, the microplastics, all of these things, and eating a nutrient-rich diet that avoids as many of these anti-nutrients as possible. People who couldn't conceive or tried everything under the sun suddenly are able to create a new life.
I was vegetarian for about 7 years. At the time, I was so closed-minded, just kind of reading headlines and not really digging into information at all. I just kind of went full 180 and started making liver pate like the next day. Part of my goal in working with women, particularly in fertility and pregnancy and hormone balancing, is to kind of pair those two things together, to have healthy foods, particularly organ meats and other nutrient-dense foods, but having them in a way that is enjoyable and they can sit down and know that they're nourishing themselves and at the same time want to be eating that food.
Depending on the age of the mother, your eggs are not viable a certain percent of the months that you menstruate. So it can range anywhere from 25% up to 75% for older women. And for my age, I'm in my early 30s, I learned that somewhere around 40% of my eggs were just not viable based on nature. It's just you're not gonna have a viable egg every month. So then I look back now on my fertility journey and I'm like, wow, we got pregnant 3 months in a row. I actually feel incredibly healthy and incredibly fertile and really good that my body was able to do that. And I owe so much of our success every month to how we took care of ourselves and our diet. But I would eat all of these very nourishing foods, nutrient-dense foods like meat, eggs, ghee, fresh fruit, liver, all of these things. And it's like I felt like they were coming into my body and circulating and making me feel very vital and stable and nurturing me and nurturing my baby.
Organ meats are some of the most nutrient-dense foods on the planet. Particularly in pregnancy, many of these nutrients found in organ meats are essential for optimal brain development, for optimal bone development.
In pregnancy, when we conceive a baby, we also start growing an organ. And this organ is intended to be with this baby throughout the whole plus or minus 40 weeks. And this is what feeds the baby. This is what nourishes the baby. This is the baby's home. And we, with growing this organ, have to look at what we're putting into our bodies. Today, we had the opportunity for me to look at 2 placentas side by side. One being a vegetarian placenta and the other one being a mom that was very nutrient dense with the foods that she was eating with an animal-based diet. I cannot believe the difference in the quality of the placenta. And not just the quality of the placenta, but in turn the nutrition of what the baby was growing in and what the baby received throughout the whole pregnancy. This one right here was from a mom that was primarily vegetarian throughout her pregnancy. Towards the end of her pregnancy, I was able to get her on liver pills just because her iron had dropped so significantly. And this is the placenta of a mom who was animal-based throughout her pregnancy. So she had lots of red meat, lots of pasteurized eggs, lots of raw milk, and the difference between the two, it's just obvious. There is such a huge substantial difference in the quality and the consistency of these placentas. Over here, this is called calcification. If you feel it, it's hard. There's a little bit of like a sand-like, rock-like consistency, and this is throughout the whole entire placenta. This is not what we would want to see in pregnancy. It's really sad that this is the start of a baby's life. This is the start of their nutrition. This is what fed them. This is what housed them.
I've had midwives and doulas tell me that when they see the placenta, which is attached to the umbilical cord of vegans, they look a lot like a smoker's placenta. And we know that the health of these critical connections, this tether between baby and mother, are intimately tied to the amount of animal products in the diet. We see it over and over illustrated.
If we have somebody that's eating animal-based, if we had somebody that's eating grass-fed, grass-finished meats on a regular basis, if we have somebody that's eating pasteurized eggs and raw dairy, then what we're going to see is all of these vitamins, this retinol, this copper, that's all being pushed through the placenta and helping this baby sustain life.
So if we look at a hierarchy of nutrient presence, absolute amounts of nutrients, and nutrient bioavailability, I would say meat and organs are clearly at the top of that hierarchy for absolute amounts of critical nutrients. Things like zinc, vitamin A, vitamin D, vitamin K2, choline, selenium, magnesium, calcium, iron. These nutrients are so much more bioavailable and present in greater amounts in animal foods like meat and organs than they are in vegetables.
The original prenatal vitamins, so to speak, before vitamins were a thing, women would eat the organs for nutrient density.
I just recently had somebody that came to me at 30 weeks of pregnancy. I just put her on a supplement of heart and liver. She texted me 1 week later saying that she felt the best that she's ever felt during the whole entire pregnancy. These artificial vitamins are peed out when it is not recognized within our body. Having the bioavailability of pure food and nutrient-based foods is one of the most important things that we can do for fertility and for pregnancy.
Supplements synthetically created in a lab is so different than your body taking in these nutrients from real food. It's just your body just sees them entirely different.
This is the problem with synthetic multivitamins, synthetic prenatals, is they are both poorly bioavailable. A lot of the nutrients in there don't get absorbed into the human body. We just end up pooping and peeing them out. And we know that the forms of many of the vitamins in these prenatal vitamins are not the forms that the body wants or uses. So what I fear with prenatal vitamins and the way that they could cause more harm than good is by giving people a false sense of security. This idea that I don't have to think about what I'm eating. I can continue eating junk food or not eating enough animal foods. If you're looking to build a diet around which nutrients you need to thrive as a human, as a mother, as a pregnant female, as a woman looking to conceive, meat and organs should be at the center of that diet. And just taking a prenatal vitamin a lot of times gives people a false sense of security and forsakes all of the good work that women may do in terms of improving their diet.
Did all organ meats, nutrient-dense foods, and I had a great pregnancy. Baby is healthy, thriving, no problems. She's been great.
I have been doing births for the last 18, almost 19 years. It incorporates into all areas of my life. People fly in from all over the world to give birth here. There are the people that walk in just wanting to avoid the hospital experience. And when they avoid this hospital experience, they don't realize that these recommendations for our nutrition are the most essential part of having a healthy pregnancy. We know that when mothers are breastfeeding, that their nutrition matters just as much as pregnancy. If we look at the ingredients of formula, it's hydrogenized vegetable oils, it's soy, it's artificial everything. There's actually a study that came out and that looked at SIDS. SIDS is sudden infant death syndrome. Out of every 90 babies that died of SIDS, 87 was formula fed.
Breast milk is critically important. Obviously, it is the best food for babies. We want mothers to breastfeed, but in order to make enough milk, mothers need to get enough calories from a nutrient-rich diet, and they need to get enough nutrients in that diet to make sure those nutrients get passed to the baby, and they need to avoid the common toxins in our environment, especially things like linoleic acid and seed oils and other toxins that will also be passed to the baby in the breast milk.
The number one thing that I recommend is starting that nose to tail ancestral eating. We look at grass-fed, grass-finished meats, and we look at really high quality fats. We want to eliminate all of the PUFAs, the polyunsaturated fats. We want to eliminate all the vegetable and seed oils. We want to make sure that anything that they're putting in their body is nothing but a nutrient-based powerhouse.
Throughout my whole conception, pregnancy, labor, postpartum journey, I was on an animal-based diet. I've been feeling great, and my daughter's been thriving.
My first one went to 41 weeks and 5 days. I had a midwife-assisted home birth with that baby. My second child, he came spontaneously, and we had a beautiful free birth right here in this room. I ate an animal-based diet through both of my pregnancies, and I definitely feel like it played an important role in the outcomes that I experienced, the positive pregnancy, birth, and postpartum outcomes. And, you know, I have 2 very, very healthy children to prove it.
I'm currently 7 months pregnant, about 30 weeks, with baby number 2. My first daughter is 3 years old, just turned 3. We've been eating an animal-based diet for about 5 years now, and it makes us feel our best, and we don't have any intentions of changing.
The answer is really simple. The key to a healthy pregnancy is eating the way that humans have always eaten, and not eating the way that most humans eat today.
It is one of the most beautiful things to watch a woman find her power and find her strength and open up, allowing another child to come onto this planet.